Today on Public Eye News, Heki Lunta and Winter Festival and the Polar Roll.
Later, Brendan will have your weather for the weekend, and Michael will be back for your sports update. I'm Abigail Fakes.
And I'm Michael Cudahy, and this is Public Eye News. It was an event that COVID put a damper on last year, but in 2022, Heki Lunta has the green light. This event will combine many past fair favorites and will also be adding many new things, like the first ever snowboarding competition in the event. The weekend festivities will kick off around 5 p.m. in Negaunee. And the Great Lakes Fat Tire Series is back up here in the UP for the Polar Roll, the largest fat bike event in Michigan. For those looking to get in on the event, you can either bike or snowshoe the 30 or 15-mile tracks. The event will be on February 12th, just before 10 a.m., and will be ending just before noon. And a man awaiting sentencing has passed away in prison. 56-year-old Brian Wheeler pled no contest to stealing more than $900,000 from the school district he worked for. He was pronounced dead last night in Ottawa County Jail in West Olive. He entered his plea on Monday and was scheduled for sentencing in February.
In East Lansing, Michigan, and Michigan State University and health officials are distributing antibiotics to people who attended a frat party after someone from the party tested positive for bacterial meningitis on January 22nd. The Ingham County Health Department and university are holding distribution centers for the antibiotics Friday and Saturday. They are recommending that everyone who was at the party receive the antibiotic within 14 days. On February 3rd, there will be a lantern-lit river walk from 6 to 9 p.m. The Carp River, you can walk or snowshoe along the Carp River, and lanterns will be lit along the path. You will have the option to take a river hike or back or loop back through the campground. There will be complimentary hot cocoa at the lodge and a bonfire at the river. It is a 1-mile hike, perfect for anyone. A Wisconsin judge on Friday approved an agreement by lawyers to destroy the assault rifle that Kyle Rittenhouse used to shoot 3 people during a 2020 street protest. The gun will be destroyed probably in April this year. Rittenhouse was not in court for this hearing. Rittenhouse shot these men during the protest in Kenosha, arguing that he fired in self-defense after each of the men attacked him. A jury last year acquitted him of multiple charges, including homicide. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your national and international news.
Year after year, PBS has been your home for the best history and documentary programs.
People persisted. People made a difference.
The faces have changed. The stories have changed. The world has changed.
This is an incredible story.
Liftoff. What defines us is our minds and our hearts.
But our commitment to bring you the best history and documentary programs has stayed the same. Thank you for your support, and keep watching for exciting new films right here on PBS.
And welcome back. A 50-year-old bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh hours before President Joe Biden was scheduled to give a speech on infrastructure. President Biden is promoting his $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which has $1.6 billion earmarked for Pennsylvania bridges. Thankfully, no one was too badly injured, with only minor injuries reported. Drones searched the area to ensure no one was trapped, but authorities are still searching and being cautious as they search through the rubble to make sure no one is trapped. And a federal judge resentenced Joe Exotic to 21 years in prison. A year was taken off his sentence as the alleged zookeeper pleaded for leniency as he starts his cancer treatment. He was convicted to prison originally in a case with animal welfare activist Carol Baskin. Both were featured in the Netflix show Tiger King. Supporters of Mr. Exotic packed the courtroom with some free Joe Exotic t-shirts and some wearing animal print masks. Exotic was convicted of trying to hire 2 different men to try and kill Mrs. Baskin. And Brad Underwood for WKRC in Cincinnati, Ohio, has an uplifting story about a local bar and the Cincinnati Bengals.
First, just sit on Friday.
You know your neighborhood bar is ready for game day when you can't turn your head without seeing a Bengals jersey hanging above you.
I think the whole thing's great. You know, it's great for business. It's great for Cincinnati. great for the long-suffering Bengal fans.
Everywhere you go inside Wiedemann's Bar in St. Bernard, Bengals jerseys are on full display.
Our bar manager, Laura, her son collects these, and he's got, I don't know, we've got about 30 of them.
This is Laura's son, Nick Mosley. He's been collecting Bengals jerseys since high school. He says in total, he's got about 55 of them.
I have multiple colors, different colors. I have the white ones, I have the black ones, I have the newer ones, old school. I have a little bit of both.
From Hushmanzada to Ocho Cinco, Palmer and Dalton, Green and Green Ellis, Thurman and Benson, Dunlap and Atkins. The place looks more like a team shop.
It makes you smile real big and grin from ear to ear like I'm doing right now. Yeah. I'm a little overwhelmed, but at the same time, I'm honored.
Mosley says the jerseys on display are only about half of his full collection at home.
We're trying to get the rest of his down here for the game Sunday, but we've got them up all over the bar.
As for Mosley's favorite one on display,
the ones that are here, it has to be probably Tyler Boyd that's hanging up.
But on game day, he says he'll be wearing his very favorite jersey.
Mr. Joe Burrow himself.
In St. Bernard, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
Russia said on Friday that it will not start a war in Ukraine, but warned that the U.S. and NATO have ignored its demands and left little room for compromise during this crisis. President Vladimir Putin told French President Macron that the West has failed to consider Russia's conditions stopping further NATO expansion. This means stopping deployment of alliance weapons near Russian borders and putting forces back from Eastern Europe. The U.S. Coast Guard, air crews, and local emergency authorities were searching for anyone in the water after a makeshift boat carrying suspected migrants capsized off a beach in Puerto Rico. The search began after a 911 call early Friday that reported a possible overturned vessel off Shack's Beach in Isabela, which appeared in an attempt to smuggle people onto the island. 12 people were detained and their nationalities are being determined. It was indicated that there were 27 people on the vessel before it capsized. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your sports update, your weather update, and your sports with.
Welcome, everyone. We are thrilled to have you.
I have to tell you something.
Are you ready for this?
Beautiful.
Show me what you got.
Nothing compares to this.
Wow. We need to be seen.
We have to imagine the American landscape.
Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
Hello and welcome back to Public Eye News. My name is Brendan Ford and I will be your weatherman for today. If you take a look behind me at the NMU campus, you can see there's a lot of snow on the ground and clouds in the sky. Anyways, let's go into your Marquette current conditions. If you look behind me or in front of me, it is partly sunny with a temperature of 17 degrees and winds heading out of the west-southwest at 6 miles per hour with a barometric pressure of 30.22 and falling. Looking at tonight, those clouds will continue and cover up the moon just a tad bit, partly cloudy with a low of 1 degree, winds heading out of the west-southwest at 5 miles per hour. Looking at tomorrow, we can expect to see the sun, partly cloudy, with a temperature of 20 degrees and a winds heading out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and get into all of your conditions around the UP. If you go ahead and take a look at Sault Ste. Marie, it is 11 degrees and cloudy, and looking down at Manistee, you can see that it is 8 degrees and partly cloudy. Over in Escanaba, 19 degrees, partly cloudy. Moving on to Menominee, it is 16 degrees and partly cloudy. And also in Iron Mountain, 16 degrees and partly cloudy. Looking at Ironwood, 12 degrees and cloudy. And then partly cloudy in both Houghton and Marquette, with Houghton having a temperature of 15 degrees and Marquette having a temperature of 17 degrees. Lots of clouds in the UP. Let's get into your future conditions. If you look at it on Sunday, we can expect to see a high of 21 and a low of 12, and we will be seeing some snow, so be sure to bundle up. And on Monday, a high of 29 and a low of 26 and cloudy. And on Tuesday, a high of 31 and a low of 5 and a lot of bitter cold winds, so be sure to stay safe out there. Let's go ahead and get into the sports update with Michael Cudahy.
Well, the Calgary Flames' hot streak against teams with blue in their name has burned up as St. Louis is no longer singing the blues after a home win last night, 5-1. Mikael Backlund got the lone goal for the Flames last night, but it wasn't enough as Brendan Saad scored twice, with youngster Jordan Kyrou and stars Braden Shen and Ryan O'Reilly each adding a goal to the total. Ville Husso was in net for the Blues last night as he's looking to take the starting job away from Stanley Cup winning goaltender Jordan Binnington. And keeping our eyes in the NHL, the Vancouver Canucks have completely changed their season around. After hiring Bruce Boudreau, the Canucks grounded the Jets, getting 5 goals past the goalie, who would have likely been the starter for Team USA if NHL players were allowed to participate in the Olympics. JT Miller scored a hat trick as his name is in trade talks with the New York Rangers and Minnesota Wild, believed to be the team's most interest with the centerman. Minnesotan Brock Besser scored the Canucks' 4th goal, with Elias Pettersson getting his 11th of the season as he looks to bounce back after a slow start, and rookie goalie Spencer Martin picked up his first career win. And this weekend, your Northern Michigan Wildcat hockey team is looking to improve on its 20th ranking as they're set to play Lake Superior State tonight and tomorrow at the Barrie Event Center. Fantastic Frenchman Luis Boudon is the Lakers' leading scorer with 11 goals and 27 points on the season, and the team also features an NHL draft pick in Arvid Henriksen, a 7th-round pick by the Montreal Canadiens. Hank Crone is currently the 3rd leading scorer in the nation with 33 points. The former Denver Pioneer has transferred in and dominated this year and has formed a lethal connection with AJ Vanderbeek, who is tied for the nation's leading goals with 17. Vanderbeek is currently tied for 9th in the nation in points. And last Sunday was radically rocking rock star goalie Rico DiMattio's birthday as the 13-7-1 goalie looks to help his team in the CCHA standings to get a home playoff series in the CCHA tournament. But don't be surprised if Rico is in fact benched in favor of freshman Charlie Glockner or junior Nolan Kent to give DiMattio some rest ahead of the Tuesday night's game against Michigan Tech.
Toyota's working with Japan's space agency vehicle to explore lunar surface. They have ambitions to help people live on the moon by 2040 and then go live on Mars. The vehicle is based on the idea that people eat, work, sleep, and communicate with others safely in cars.
Wow, that is crazy. Living on the moon and then on Mars by 2040.
Living on Mars would be pretty neat, I think.
I think that'd be pretty cool. But I feel like when you first get there, the social media would be really weird because it's like, I'm just going to send people a picture of this red rock.
A lot of orange.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, I've sent all the red rocks.
So what do you think about the hockey game tonight?
I think it'll be really good. Lake Superior State beat Northern the last time they played. It was at Lake Superior State, right after the series where Northern upset Duluth. And I think depending on who's in net, Rico is an incredibly talented goaltender. So is Glockner and so is Kent. But I think it'll come down to how well people play, and the goalie obviously does matter, as your best goalie would be the best option.
Sounds exciting.
And that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Public Eye News. I'm Michael Cudahy.
And I'm Abigail Fakes.
And we'll see you next week.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.